Awesome, guys. Hey, this is Jefferson Clements with Escape Properties.
Lance Monson, Barrett Financial.
We're stoked to announce that this is episode 2 of our Real Estate Unlocked podcast, and we're stoked to be here with all of you. So thank you. And we'll go live. Well, it's going live right now, and then it will get put up on the channel, and you guys can catch it or send it to anybody that you think would find it interesting. So I'm excited for it. Let's go ahead and get started here. So what we want to start out with every episode is a home tip of the month. So here's our tip for, oh no, that's supposed to say December. I swore I changed that, but oh well. Pretend it says December, everybody.
We'll go back to the prior one for a sec. We had everyone voting last time for our name.
Good point.
And this is the one that won the Real Estate Unlocked. So thanks for everyone that commented and
totally
voted in that little poll we did. So
we're stoked.
Real Estate Unlocked it is.
Heck yeah, let's do it. All right, here's December's tip of the month here. So the idea is to take a dollar bill to go and test your door sills. Kind of sounds a little silly, but if your weather stripping is installed properly, when you shut your door on that dollar bill, it should kind of tug at it a little bit. If the dollar bill just comes out really easily, it might mean that your weather stripping isn't actually aligned properly, or that it doesn't have the right amount of seal in between it. And it could be a 10 to 15% efficiency increase to get that properly taken care of. Now, of course, this isn't your bedroom doors, but this is like your front doors, the side doors to the garage. I see those ones always. You don't go through them very often, and so they get some good wear on them when you don't use them very often. And so those are good doors to check, and of course the back door as well. So now,
does that just slide over the door? I'm not.
I don't think it slides. It's actually. I think there's different types of them, but they actually have like screws in them that keep them in. It depends on the ones that you get. But
I'm like, okay, so I want to fix it. How do I get under it?
You know what? ChatGPT or YouTube. Honestly, a weather stripping is like $8 at Ace Hardware, and depending on your lease, it might not be covered for.
So typically, goes at the base of the door, or is it at the base of the doorway?
It's the base of the door, because that's the part that kind of slides. So like if you've ever noticed, like on one that's really low, when you open the door, sometimes it will like
I guess you're right. Yeah.
So it's the bottom of the door, because that's the part that wears it's supposed to be a little snug, so that keeps that efficiency in. But $8 to fix something like that, which is good.
Save some money on your electric bills.
Totally. It's good for tenants because you're the one paying the bill usually. It's good for landlords because they want the property to be nice, look nice, and it just makes the home feel like an actual home. So stick around if you like those tips. We've got another exciting tip that we're going to go over on the buying side for 2026. So stay tuned for that. For starters, we've got our rental analysis update. What you're going to notice here, we've changed the way that we've got these systems coming, or the way that these graphs are going to be showing. So the columns on the left are Washington and Iron County for the month of October, and the columns on the right are for Washington County and Iron County in November. So you'll notice there that rents have gone down a little bit. What this is the average rent for 3-bedroom units in the cities of St. George and in Cedar City. And so these are giving you a really good idea of what to anticipate if you've got a lease that's coming up for renewal, or if you're a landlord and you've got a lease that needs to be renewed. It really gives you the opportunity to kind of see what's average in today's market. And if you know that you're paying more than the average, it doesn't mean that you're overpaying. It's just this is the average, right? So, but if you do have questions on, hey, is this an accurate amount, or your renewal's coming up, you're always welcome to send it over our way, and we can do a rental analysis. And then for landlords, we can do that as well. Even if you're managing your own units, we can help with that. So
month over month looks like it decreased a little bit.
Totally.
Based on that.
I'm excited to see what happens in January, because I do believe that December is one of those months that we will either see it will stay the same or it can decrease a little bit. And the main reason is because it's Christmas, it's the holidays. there was not a lot going on in the property management world over the holiday for Thanksgiving. As far as like inquiries and showings go and stuff like that, everybody wants to be with family, and so it kind of slows down for that. Now,
So people don't want to move. So
Mhm.
landlords, if they have a vacant unit, would incentivize you to get in there.
Totally.
And
Yes.
if you're a landlord, maybe don't write your rental agreements to expire in December.
Exactly. Another thing too is to just make sure. So, like, if you're a landlord trying to rent your property, pricing it, if you do end up being in December or even November, if you're trying to rent your property, you really need to be strategic in how you market that. And so that's what's good about hiring a manager.
Makes sense.
Okay, the exciting stuff here. We've put up here, this is the last 6 months for both Washington County and Iron County. The blue represents the active listings, what's already online. The red represents what was new in each of these months. And the yellow represents what sold these months. And so those last columns on the right side, the two on each of those graphs on the far right side represent the month of November. And I thought it was really interesting that there were more listings sold than there were listed in the month of November. It's just interesting. St. George, I mean, you definitely had a lot less homes listed.
So that's in Iron County, you see that.
Mhm,
And then Washington County looks like you still had more came on than sold.
Yes, but it's interesting because if you look at from May all the way to December, it's pretty consistent, maybe a little bit of up and down on both ends. But the month of December, naturally, it kind of follows the rental market where not much was listed because a lot of people aren't trying to sell their home right into the Christmas season. So it's just kind of interesting to see that change in November. So along with that, we've got the average sell price was about $5,000 more for Washington County at $516,723. And the average sell price for Iron County was $5,000 less this month at $425,800, which is kind of interesting. Again, it's just Washington and Iron County. It's interesting how sometimes they mimic each other and sometimes they do the exact opposite. It just happens. So we're excited to see this show an actual trend as we keep reporting these numbers to you guys. But you might notice with both Washington and Iron County especially, it's been pretty consistent the last 6 months. I mean, those are...
Yeah, that's pretty flat.
It's not... I was looking back at it. Let's see here. Let me find it. So the month of October for Washington County was 482. So that was a big jump up in... that was September. Big jump up in October. And then another jump in November, which is interesting. But we're still lower than we were in the month of August. August, the average sell price was $518,000. So we're still less than that in this month of November. So I'm intrigued to see how December does, and then of course January as we hit the new year.
Yeah.
So, any questions on that one? I'm going over here. Okay, average days on market. Both Washington County and Iron County went down in days on market, which is interesting. They're both very comparable, 76 for Washington County, 78 for Iron County. Only just a couple of days less here, which means that I think it's good. I think it means that the homes are selling still and that it's healthy. It's staying very healthy.
That sold to list ratio is interesting to me. They're both right at the 95, 94.6.
Yeah, it is interesting.
That's a lot of concessions. So
Totally.
that tells me people are negotiating and getting concessions, buying down the rate, getting a lower price, those kinds of things.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, it does make it exciting. It reminds me of when I first got into the career. It was fun to learn, you can negotiate these things and you can actually have fun with it. And I mean, COVID was hard. You couldn't negotiate those things, and we're back to where that is actually fun too.
So our average sales price was $540 or something.
Our average sales price for
$516
for Washington.
So we're talking 5% on that.
Okay.
What, 27,000, something like that.
Sounds right.
In concessions, that's a healthy reduction.
Yeah,
so.
that would be sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, turn the
No,
title
this
over
one's
to
mine.
Lance
This
here.
one's mine, yeah.
Here's your rates right here.
Yeah, so this is the 3-year mortgage rate chart there. Just kind of shows where we've gone in the past and kind of where we sit. So we're expecting as we move forward, rates to kind of continue to dip in the next year.
Cool.
We're sitting at like 6.6, 6.7 currently for this we consider par. No discount points, none of that type of stuff. If you come in and you get those, seller concessions we're talking about, of course, we're gonna be able to get you into the 5s, and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, that's kind of where the rates are at today.
Good.
We did see a little bit of a drop today, not reflected on that graph because I sent it to you yesterday.
Yeah.
But you can see from last month when we kind of talked about it, they actually increased a little bit.
Yeah.
They were expecting at one point the Fed to reduce rates in December, and then the sentiment became that they weren't going to. And so, and now it's going back the other way again that they may.
Cool.
So
when do they usually make the changes? Is there any?
there's usually a monthly meeting.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So
I'd have to Google it to tell you the day that they're going to meet again, but.
Well, stay tuned. We'll be sure to send out a post when we hear any changes on there. It'll be fun. So, cool. Anything else on
Exciting
this?
stuff. No, just
Awesome.
already into the credit stuff.
Yeah, let's do it. I like
Okay,
this
so
part.
credit tip this month. All right, so the amount owed on the pie graph there represents a large,
This is the orange, right?
the orange one, yeah, large chunk of how your credit is made, right? Just changing your mindset and the process of how you pay your credit cards each month can have a big impact on your credit score. Hit the next slide there.
Awesome.
So there's two different dates to be aware of, right? There's the due date where we're like, oh, I got to make that payment by the end of the month, when that statement says it's due, right? There's also a statement date, and that's typically the day that the credit bureau, but the credit card or the bank, whoever's lending that money, is reporting to the credit bureaus,
Okay.
right? You can call and verify this with your credit card companies individually and verify that's the date they're reporting. That's the safest way to do it. But if you treat the statement date as your due date, especially if you're paying your credit cards in full, get it paid down like to 1% of the balance, 2% of the balance, all of a sudden, instead of reporting a large balance, still showing, or a maxed out credit card, now you're reporting a credit card with 2%, 5% utilization, and your score will increase dramatically just because of that.
Oh, wow.
And especially this time of year, you're Christmas shopping, you're racking up those credit cards more than normal, getting the points, which is great, but just be aware of that statement date.
Don't have too much fun.
Maximize your score.
Don't forget it.
Pay it off in full. Don't pay the interest,
Cool.
and pay it by the statement date, not the due date. That's my credit tip, and
Very cool.
it should help your credit scores
Awesome.
jump up there for you.
Yeah. Very good. Well, awesome. Okay, well, let's jump into the meat and potatoes today of our podcast. This is exciting.
Okay, so the FHFA has announced that January 1st, the conforming or conventional loan limits are increasing.
Cool.
So for Washington, Iron County, the number is $832,750. Okay, so if you're buying a 1-unit home, you can get in, go conforming, which means you can put down 5% if you're a first timer, 3% in some of the programs, and get into that house with just a conventional mortgage PMI.
Cool.
And avoid the jumbo type loans and that kind of thing.
Do you know off the top of your head, like, the difference in what you have to bring with the jumbo loan, like, in comparison to that?
So if the loan amount goes above 932, right, or 832, so if you're 5% above that, that's where a buyer is going to come in and be like, oh, I got to come in with more money.
Yeah.
There's kind of a window there. Typically 10%, you can get a jumbo.
Okay, cool.
There's a lot of banks require 20%. But,
All right.
yeah.
So it's just
10%
way more
is pretty-
expensive to do that.
Yeah, it doubles
So
from
this
5
is-
to 10 typically.
Which is a big deal. Yeah. What I think is kind of interesting, I know we didn't really talk about this before we jumped on, but there's a lot of equity in people's homes still, and there's a lot of people that still want to get, they want to use that equity to buy bigger homes. This would be good if they're, not necessarily wanting to go crazy, but if they've got really good equity in their home, they want to raise it. They don't have to do a jumbo loan if they're under that 832, which
Yeah,
would be
it's good for
really
sellers that are in that price point.
Yeah.
Because buyers are gonna have an easier time financing that house.
That's
It's
awesome.
easier to qualify, less strict typically,
Was this
less down.
I don't understand it. Is it something that, have they been talking about doing this for a while, or is it like pretty exciting new news?
It's an annual thing,
Okay,
so
cool.
every year they announce the new,
The rates and stuff.
Yeah. and
Awesome.
the last few times it's jumped about 5% a year.
Cool.
Which represents what the market has done. The prices have increased so much.
But
This is only, what do we say, 3.25%
Yeah,
of a jump.
yeah. Right
So
there.
with it only going 3.25, that's because the increase in housing prices have slowed, right? Which is a good thing for
That's good.
consumers.
Yeah.
Because we all know that house prices have been out of control. So having it slowing is starting to tip in the right direction. We want to see affordability.
That's good.
That's the biggest challenge right now with real estate.
Now you got my brain churning. Are there any other ideas or any other things that we should be keeping an eye out for the next couple of weeks before we hit the new year?
Well, if you're a first-time buyer with these conforming limits and you want to be an investor, conversation I often have is why not buy a duplex or a fourplex? And there's even bump ups on 2 to 4 unit properties from this number.
Yeah.
So I didn't write those in here and I don't have them memorized, but you can reach out and I can give you the numbers if
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
something you want to pursue.
That would be awesome. So,
Yep.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Anything else on that slide?
Not that I can think of.
Perfect. I know that we mentioned that we've got an awesome buyer tip coming up in just a second, but just wanted to see in the chat if anybody had any questions before we move on. If you've got them, just send them our way. We'll keep going on this, but here's the tip for 2026. If you have the plans or if you have the real estate vision to buy in 2026, we'd really consider buying before the end of the year. Kind of with an asterisk there. Lance and I were talking about it. Between Thanksgiving and, you look at the data between now and January, the end of January, sellers are extremely motivated because there's not as much going on to a degree, right?
Yeah, exactly. So less inventory on the market, right?
Totally.
We've seen the charts that you showed us that inventory is decreasing, but the ones that are out there willing to open their house up on Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and all that hassle and keep it clean to show it, they're motivated. They want to sell their house.
Absolutely.
So
have you had an experience with that?
Yeah, we were talking about this. I've bought 4 houses. I haven't sold any because it's not a good time to sell in my opinion, but I've purchased 4 times between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Cool.
And I always ask for heavy concessions when I do it. One of the most memorable, we were out looking at Christmas lights and my daughter was only like, 6 or 7 at the time. Hey, this house is great. It has a for sale sign.
Nice.
We pull it out and we took it home and we were looking at it and we're like, let's just lowball them and see what they say.
That's awesome.
I love and they took it and we're like surprised, like, oh, now we got to move. What are we doing?
Did you tell me your family was pretty upset they had to move over Christmas or something? Or was that a different
My kids were, I kind of ruined the holidays for them a little bit because, I'm moving in the middle of Christmas and, boxing stuff up. Let's take the tree down and put it in the new house and all that kind of stuff. And
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They say I ruined Christmas a few different times, but
that's awesome.
We sacrificed, but sometimes if you want to reach your goals, you got to be willing to take some sacrifices.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
No, it makes sense. And it's interesting. You don't know what the seller's position is. If they're in a place where they are really wanting to sell, it really might be a good time. And the other thing too is even with where we're at in the market, it's still competitive. And so with this slow period, it's nice because other buyers are saying, well, hey, we just get through the holidays before we make any decisions, which is, again, making it easier to put offers out there. Yeah. Like you said, lowballing and like actually getting sellers that are motivated to do it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and I mean, like I said, I was surprised to see that in the month of November, our average days on market went down. What was it? 80 by 5 days. Like, that's interesting. I know it's not a huge jump,
Right.
but I was
it's a
expecting to go
trend.
the other way for November. But anyways,
Well, I think a lot of that is just houses coming off the market.
yeah,
So
so interesting.
it's a seasonal thing as well.
Totally. Well, guys, that's the episode for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And I didn't see any questions in the chat, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up for the night. So thank you guys, and the next episode will be on January 6th. So we'll catch you then. See you guys.